introducing simple forms of mindfulness and kindness practices in very young children can help establish healthy habits of mind very early in life.
Do 1 Om. Big deep breath in. I do believe that the work we're doing right now is in such an important developmental stage where their brains are really changing. Because of that, I believe that this work right now is going to affect them for the rest of their life.
Mindfulness, really, it's a body of techniques or a tradition that's really aiming at the development of non-conceptual awareness.
For me personally, heartfulness and mindfulness are one and the same. And that if you have mindfulness without the aspects of heartfulness, then it's incomplete. And if you have heartfulness without the aspects of mindfulness, then it's incomplete.
All right. Okay, everybody move to our yoga circle. All right, guys, have a seat. Huh? Not till the end, okay? Have a seat in our yoga circle. Perfect. Close your eyes. Relax your mind. Good. That was really great listening. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out.
If we can start to give little kids awareness of their emotions and awareness of their body and the ability to self-regulate sometimes, then they're going to be taking that into their school environments.
Well, shell. That was so funny. They ate a hot dog instead of a frog.
Start reading. Let me see you reading. Reading and writing used to be taught in first grade, and it's moved to kindergarten. And there's a lot of debate about whether that's appropriate, but the reality is that's what is expected right now, whether you believe that it's right or not. And I do see kids struggle with not being able to sit down and do a task, and it is because they cannot focus long enough. If we are going to ask them to do all of these things, it is so important that we give them the tools to do it. I think it's so important for this age. Otherwise, they're floundering.
I like my rocking chair. I like it. Tuck me in.
There are sensitive periods in human development, periods when the brain is more plastic. We know, for example, that young children are much better able to learn a second or third language very early on in life compared to later on in life. The conclusion that we are inevitably led to by modern research is that happiness and well-being are actually best regarded as skills. We normally don't think about them as skills in Western culture, but all the research leads us to believe that they really should best be considered as skills. Fundamentally no different than learning to play a musical instrument, for example.
Listen for the bell.
There are a variety of different kinds of meditation techniques, which I believe can be very effectively used to cultivate happiness and well-being. And those are among the, I think, most important methods that can be harnessed by individuals and studied by Western science.
Wow, that was very nice listening. Breathe in. Breathe out.
The way in which these practices, I think, can best be taught is with very short periods of practice. And I think those short periods of practice, when they occur repeatedly over time, several times a day, can be very, very effective.
We're gonna sit silently for 1 minute. We're going to be listening for every sound that we can hear. I've opened the window so that maybe we could hear some outside sounds. Maybe you can hear some sounds from upstairs. Ready? I'm gonna set the timer. Here we go.
Teachers often wonder what they should expect when they have mindfulness in their class or when they're introducing it. And sometimes I think that their expectation is that their classroom is perfect and that they look perfectly still. But actually, mindfulness is not about being still and calm. Mindfulness is about recognizing our experience and being with our experience and noticing what it is. A positive byproduct of mindfulness often is the feeling of calm, and that often results in a calm classroom or still classroom. But I think that really, if you want to look at if it's having benefit over time, you want to look at if the children are happier, if they seem more comfortable in their body, if they seem like they're less reactive or aggressive, or the way they treat each other and the way they manage their experience. And so you want to look over time, not just in those moments where they're supposed to be doing mindfulness.
There were a ton of sounds. Did you guys hear some sounds? Yeah. Jack, tell me one thing that you heard during that time.
The fish tank.
Ooh. Jalen, did you hear anything from outside?
I heard echo.
Ooh, echoes. I kind of heard that too, because there were some kids right here next to our room and there was some echoing.
Younger kids don't need a lot of time. If you can get them to be attentive in their bodies with stillness, whether they're paying attention to their breath or they're just kind of there in silence or they're noticing sound or sensation in their body, even if we just have a minute doing that each day, they're going to start to become familiar with what it's like to have that intentional presence and attention in their body.
The next time that it rains hard, what we're going to do is turn off the lights and everybody gets to sit where they want. I'm going to open up all the windows and I'm going to open up the door and we're going to listen to the rain. The next time that it rains, we'll do mindful listening, okay? So be prepared for that.
Will it rain inside?
Do you think it'll rain inside?
We will rain inside.
Today, we're going to practice mindful eating. I'm going to give you a raisin. If you don't like raisins, what do you think is the best thing for you to do?
No, thank you. I don't like raisins.
You can say, oh, I don't like raisins, and then I want you to take one anyways, because we're gonna do some funny things with these raisins today, okay?
Do I have to eat them?
You're gonna see what we're gonna do with them, okay? I'm gonna give you a raisin. I want you to keep it in your hand.
Miss Harris, I'm gonna eat that raisin right now.
Ooh,
Miss Harris.
don't eat it. Put your raisin right in the middle of your palm. Can you do it?
Yep.
The first thing I want you to do is look at your raisin. We're using just our eyes right now. And I want you to notice what that raisin looks like.
Mine's just a plain old little stone.
It looks like a plain old stone. I want for you to bring up your raisin to your nose. Now, I want you to do something that's kind of silly. And this is the trick. It has to be absolutely silent for us to do this. I want you to listen to your raisin. Take your raisin in between your fingers, and you're gonna put it up to your ear, and you're going to kind of squish it. I want you, don't do it yet, you're just going to put it on your tongue, okay? Yes. Just put it on your tongue and close your mouth.
Yes.
Hold it there.
Really good.
Hold it there. Now, with very, very slow teeth, I want you to start to chew it and really, really pay attention to the taste. Start to chew it. If you don't, you can step out of this part, okay? But just listen. And see what you feel coming out. When it's all chewed, you can swallow it. Now, I want you to remember your raisin and see if you can eat mindfully, okay? Awesome job. All righty. Hold your hands out like this. I want you to try to be very still, just like in yoga. We're not going to move our hands and body like this. Nice. Now, everybody look at your fingertips. Can you see them? Do you know where your hands are? Are you sure?
Yes. No.
You can see your hands?
Yes.
You can, right?
Yes.
Try closing your eyes and see if you can still feel your hands. You're going to move your hands together very slowly and see if you can match your fingers with your eyes open. This time, try it with your eyes closed. Let's take a step like we were just learning to walk. Lift your leg very slowly. Your leg comes out. You put your heel down and you roll your foot down. Now slowly lift your toe up. Your foot starts to come in front. Look at this. Isn't this interesting?
So pretend this is me, and I'm like walking, and that's mindful moving. And then my mom goes, and I tell her to do this.
Hands up.
Peaceful
1,
and mindful.
2, 3, 4.
You get to walk slowly because sometimes I get to walk fast from school to here, and I get to do mindful listening slowly. We close our eyes, then we take a deep breath, then we raise our hand. And we try to be in the mindful spine. Well, I feel more relaxed, and it's supposed to calm your mind. Well, then people won't be running around and getting hurt so much.
Even though we do the mindfulness sessions and we talk just about mindfulness, it is so ingrained in the way we move from the rug to the door, and the way we sit on the rug, and you know, it's everywhere. And when you bring in the yoga, that's a lot of mindful movement too. Because we're filming today.
What's filming?
Remember, we're going to do video recording today. Let us move to our yoga circle. Get a spot on the rug. I love the way you're moving your bodies. Avery, I want to sit next to you today. Sit right here. You feeling a little better? Yeah? So today when you're doing yoga, I want you to really concentrate on your breath. And just, if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling like you have something in your stomach that's making you cry or making you sad, you just take deep breaths, okay? Very nice. And come back up. All the way up your belly to the sky and reach. Yes, you guys, good. And arch, arch, arch. Tavian, go up into cat. Meow. And into lion. Very nice, you guys. Bend that front knee. Warrior one. Ready? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bend and to warrior 2. Open it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And scooch back to mountain. Whoosh.
Celia punched me.
Love, I need you to leave our circle if you're going to disturb other people's yoga. It's not fair to other people. People are trying to calm their minds and their body right now. If you can't help with that, I need you to go take a break. You can come back, but you need to take a break. Do you understand? Can you be in the circle with us, or do you need a break?
As a circle.
Great. Go up into bridge then. Knees bent, hips up. Good, yes. Hands go underneath. Come together. Yes, Aaliyah, that's beautiful. Being a teacher, you are asked to do so many things at once. And when I first started, it was very difficult. It was very difficult to be pulled in so many directions, yet to maintain this level of focus, presence, not getting overwhelmed, staying patient. There are all these really interesting places that I had to visit myself. Relax your arms and your fingers. See if you can actually make your body feel heavy. I began doing yoga really seriously about 3 years ago, and it really changed my idea of what I felt like when I was focused. And I imagined what if I would have had those skills when I was younger, of being able to really think about, okay, now I'm really focusing, how my schooling might be different. Focus on your face, all those muscles in your face. And I want you to see if you can actually feel your breath inside your belly.
What happens during the brain during meditation very much depends upon the kind of meditation that's being practiced. Different kinds of meditation lead to different kinds of changes in the brain.
Olaf, so did you. Come on over.
The one thing that is common is that they all involve changes in the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is a very large region that consists of a number of different subregions, and the prefrontal cortex is importantly involved in aspects of regulation, in the coordination of thought and feeling, and the regulation of attention and emotion. People who are teaching these methods need to be grounded in them themselves. They need to have a practice because that is a fundamental bedrock of their understanding.
I demonstrated the elementary school lesson 2. It's called Finding Your Faith.
Great job. Hi again, everybody. It's nice to be here. Today you're 4th graders. That means you're 10 years old. Imagine that this is a boat and it's floating and the people on the boat decide they actually want the boat to stop. What do? They drop the anchor. And then when they drop the anchor, what happens when the boat starts to float away a little bit? It comes back. So your breath is the anchor for your attention. We can teach mindfulness with words and give an instruction and a technique or guidance, but I think one of the primary ways we're teaching mindfulness is through our own modeling and demonstration of it, just in how we are with the students. So there's something about the way you walk into a room and the way you greet the students and the way you communicate with them and the respect that they feel from you and their feeling of being seen and heard, and that you really are modeling what you're trying to get them to emulate.
One of the reasons we sit or walk or just try mindfulness and attention training in these very simple postures first is because doing this on the fly can be a little challenging, you know, because, and that's really the development of the witness that I'm talking about, being able to witness your own reactions in real time. That's why the laboratory of sitting meditation. This is not supposed to be a piece of fundamentalism in MBSR. It's well-discovered advice. You know, you sit still for 20 minutes and you just really let the external distractions go and you're in your own laboratory, what a reaction is, and the ability to develop a neutral witness around your emotional and mental content can be much easier there at first. You then kind of take the fruits of that into your everyday interactions. And just to be honest, teaching is a relatively advanced place on that scale because you're managing a lot of dynamics at once. You know, there's a lot of kind of energy moving around the room, a lot of different reactions. So just to know that it's like for all of us, I think it's a pretty advanced practice, which is great. That keeps it interesting.
When you walk into a classroom of kids, whatever age, and it seems like things are gonna get out of control, there can be this panic. And if you default to, you know, let's be mindful, then, then you're kind of sending the wrong message. The basic rule is, if you are frustrated and angry and you say to the class, we need to do mindfulness, that is not a mindful way of using mindfulness. But if you're frustrated and angry and you want to gather the class and you say, I'm going out of my mind, the noise is too much in here, I need mindfulness, let's sit down. That's a really honest way of dealing with the situation, where you still get to have your feeling, but you're not blaming them for it. And if teachers get instructed in that way, they can use it. They can use mindfulness in their class in a more skillful way.
As mammals, before we've said anything in a room of people, our nervous systems, my nervous system has already given you a bunch of nonverbal data about me, really. And you're processing it unconsciously all the time. Micro expressions in my face, the way I'm holding my body, the tone of my voice, whether it's warm, you know, so much information, really, in enormous amounts. It's amazing that we have a brain that can process it all. There's this immediate, very visceral reaction to the person. It's all there for the kid to see. It means that you come in and the quality of your awareness is your priority, is your focus. That quality before any other will determine the outcome of how you teach these programs.
And slowly bending to one side. And slowly bending to the other side. And straight up. Wiggle your fingers. Stand on your toes. Jump. It's really important if you want the entirety of the potential of mindfulness for everybody to know that mindfulness is about noticing the entire spectrum of our emotions, and that there's no judgment placed on what we might call a good emotion or positive emotion versus a bad emotion or negative emotion, that they're all really welcome. And when that message gets conveyed, kids actually end up feeling very relieved and safe, because it's in contrast to the message that they're usually getting, which is that behavior is not acceptable, you know, or for boys, like crying's not acceptable, or for all of us, anger's not acceptable. And suddenly you're giving them permission to have everything.
All right. The main thing in our daily routines is our bell. They listen for the sound, and when they hear it stop is when they raise their hand. And I would say the other thing is doing acts of kindness and heartfulness every day, and sitting with a mindful spine, and I use that word all the time. A little bit. Give Kevin some room there. Perfect. Excellent. We're gonna sit next to people who we can really pay attention next to. Actually, I want everyone to start with a not mindful spine, right? Start with our not mindful spine. I always start in the beginning of the year with the mindful spine. And we actually work on that for quite a long time. Slowly and silently, you're gonna grow your mindful spine and pretend that you have that invisible thread, that invisible string. So your head is tall. Remember, your shoulders are down, though, okay? Your head is tall and your shoulders are down.
The instructions that I give to help create the mindful body, I want that to be playful. I want them to quickly realize that it's conducive to the feeling of stillness and what they're gonna learn. So it's not really rules. It's more like just by being who you are and by the way that you're requesting things from them, they want to participate. And that they, when things aren't the way you set it up, so when there aren't mindful bodies, then you get to identify. You guys notice that when we're not all having mindful bodies, it makes it hard actually to notice the quiet sounds, or it makes it hard to notice what's happening inside. And just point things out that way so that they're helping to make the decision around how they're contributing. But definitely what I try to do is not be what they're getting all the rest of the time, which is you can't do that. Oh, look at our agreements on the rule. We can't talk over others. You can't get up without asking. They're getting that kind of pressure all the time. And I try to not mimic that.
Never use the bell to get them quiet. Keep the bell as something that is more special than that. But when you are doing mindfulness, or when you are asking them to take their focus and be present, then use the bell. And then it becomes this sort of significant sound that they start to associate as, okay, this is my learning time right now, and I need to bring my focus back in. And that's why we always do it when we come back in from recess, because they come back in from recess and I ask them to write. And think of that transition to a 5-year-old. You know, that's a really playing outside, you know, running everywhere, and then you're asked to come in and write, which is something that's so hard for so many of them. And it is because they cannot sustain their focus long enough to sit down and do it.
When you ask a classroom of kids if anybody has ever told them to pay attention, or I can just ask you, has anybody ever told you to pay attention? And you ask kids if anybody has told them how to pay attention. And really, nobody raises their hand for the most part. What we're addressing when we're saying that mindfulness teaches how to pay attention is what does it take, not just to pay attention in a moment, but what does it take to sustain attention or sustain awareness? One of the things that's my biggest concern as mindfulness in education as a movement grows is that educators or classroom teachers that aren't really educated around mindfulness see that mindfulness creates a focused class, and then they only want to use it for a focused class in the sense of, I need their focus so I can teach. And we don't want to lose sight of actually the underlying intention, which is to create more empowerment and choice in the students around when and why they're focusing. So the idea is not for them to learn that when their attention has wandered away or they're daydreaming out the window, that they come back just because they're supposed to and that's the rule, but because they're actually making their own personal choice because they recognize what was happening with their awareness or their attention or their mind. And they can either stay in that daydream because it's really good and they're not actually interested in what's happening at the front of the class, or they can recognize, I actually am interested or it is important to me and I want to be present.
Oh, I'm sorry. What do you think, guys? Can we do mindful listening of the rain? Yeah. I'm gonna let you lay around the room and listen, but not yet. When I hit the bell, when I hit our mindful bell, you may get up and get your things. Okay, that will be the sound where you know that it's time to get up to get your things. Ready and begin. I do visit the bell every day, and that's kind of like our little checkup every day. And then I can bring in these larger lessons where we are, focusing on eating or focusing on movement, and they are successful, I think, because we have checked up with the bell along the way and kept mindfulness going, but it's just shorter and, more direct. Did everybody get their name? Is Aiden here? No? Jalen's not here. Winnie? No, Aaliyah? Oh, great. Tavian, put on top of the cubby right there, okay? And I'll turn it in for you. Okay. I want you to first picture Aiden in your mind. Now I want you to picture Jalen. Really picture him. And now I want you to say, may you be happy. May you be healthy. And may you be peaceful. Whenever we have somebody that's absent in here, and I know it's because they're sick, we actually stop in the morning and we close our eyes and we send good thoughts to that person. And there's something about that action of stopping and noticing that somebody who is a part of our community is not here, and it's because they're not feeling well. It could be somebody who has already passed, too. Think of that person, close your eyes, and have that person right in front of you. May you be happy. May you be healthy.
When an individual is practicing compassion practices that are explicitly designed to cultivate compassion, there is a synchrony that occurs between changes that are going on in the heart and changes that are going on in a specific place in the brain where we know that information from the heart projects. This is an area of the brain called the insula, and it literally has a map of the visceral organs in the body and monitors the activity in those organs, as well as sends signals to those organs. And it's an area that's very important in mind-body interaction.
For me personally, heartfulness and mindfulness are one and the same. And that if you have mindfulness without the aspects of heartfulness, then it's incomplete. And if you have heartfulness without the aspects of mindfulness, then it's incomplete. And if we only had a program that was how to listen and how to breathe and how to see and how to eat mindfully, and you didn't bring in the softer qualities, then it would be a very dry program and it would feel rigid. And mindfulness is the act of observation or the act of witnessing something as it is. And heartfulness is our attitude toward it or our relationship to it and the softening of your heart and attention. And if you have heartfulness without mindfulness, then you have maybe you're overly sensitive or compassionate to the point of the sacrifice of yourself, or not seeing things as they are, or not allowing people their own process. So if you're having compassion and empathy, the heartfulness side, and you bring in the observation side, so you witness your own experience toward those emotions, then you're complete again. So that's what these lessons are to me.
When children begin to have problems, those problems start in middle school. When the kids are maybe 10 or 11 or 12 years of age, just in the early part of adolescence. That's when problems begin to arise, if they do. And if we can teach children earlier these healthy habits of mind, we have the opportunity to possibly prevent or decrease the severity of those problems arising if they do during adolescence.
Going on a field trip.
I really don't want mindfulness to become another disciplinary tool. Mindfulness is meant to actually have an attitude of acceptance and caring, and discipline often has an attitude of non-acceptance or wanting to control. I hope that mindfulness is used as a way of bringing people together and showing acceptance around the class and their behavior, not just for the purpose of making them calm when the teacher wants them to be.
Yes, baby. The most significant change that I've seen is the ability for them to talk about their focus. So I've seen a lot of increase in focus, but the most interesting part for me is for them to be able to recognize when they can't focus and when they can focus.
Good morning, everyone. See if you can lift your hands. So balance poses help us focus our mind. So find your drishti spot and bring your hands back down. We're gonna come all the way to inhale, sweetie.
You know, as teachers, we get these pulled messages, you know, I'm going to this workshop and I need to teach them this, and this is the way to do right reading, and this is the way to do writing, and they have to be at this point by the end of the year, you know. We get so much of that pressure. And we need to be brought back to the other way sometimes of saying, no, these are kids. These are kids. They were in the womb 5 years ago, you know. We have to remember that, because they're little and they're small, and they need help. They need help knowing how to be here, and I think mindfulness is a good way to really show them an easier way to integrate, an easier way to transition, an easier way to be aware of themselves and how they interact with others. It's just kind of, it's like a string that connects a lot of things. That's how I kind of think of it. That missing, it's the missing link.
May you be happy and peaceful. May you be safe and protected. May you be healthy and strong and free. May you be healthy and strong and And may you accept yourself just as you are.